Welcome to episode 12 of today's Candor. I'm your host, Barika. Thank you as always for taking the time to tune in. In this episode, I'll be discussing self-care, and I'd like to provide some ideas and some insight in as far as how I take care of myself, and hopefully provide some ideas to those who may not necessarily have a routine, a self-care routine already, or are looking to maybe add some things to their routine. And like I said, just giving some insight. Sometimes what we may think is not self-care really is. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I figured it'd be perfect timing to discuss this topic because I had a week last week, all good stuff, but just very busy. And so I just returned from out of town from a family reunion on my mommy's side of the family. We have a large family on my mom's side, and it takes some time to plan it. My mom organizes all of it by herself. It is a big task, and we had a lot of fun. And while we had a lot of fun, it was a lot that went into it. I am tired. Where I can help her, I definitely help her, but she is the main organizer, and I take my hat off to her. And so she is definitely deep into her self-care right now, as she is just taking some time to sit down and get some peace and a breather. So I returned from, out of town. We did the family reunion. It was great. But while I was packing and getting myself together to go out of town, I was in the middle of transferring offices just to a different location. And so I had to pack up my old office, get to the new one. And then my mind, in hindsight, I said I probably should have done this a different week. I didn't think it was what really had to go into it. I hadn't really thought it all the way through. But it is what it is, and it's all good. So I was in the middle of packing that up, packing to go out of town, and getting everything together. And so while it was all good, I'm still tired. I'm still tired. And I'm like, okay, I need a break. So I always say part of my self-care is if I'm ever going out of town, or if there is something where it's just a lot that has to go into whatever is taking place, even if it's just attending an event for a day, if it's a lot and it's running into work, I'm taking the next day off of work. Of course, scheduling it so that it is in advance, but I am not going to force myself to go to work, whether that's actually in the office or if I'm working remotely. You just need a day. You need a day to recoup. You might need two. Of course, that's your call. But that's a part of self-care for me, where I say, if I am returning from out of town, or if you might just need an extra day tacked on to your weekend. It might not be because you did anything different or out the ordinary. You might just say, I need an extra day. I need an extended weekend, and that's fine. So for me, that's always a part of my self-care, because I just need time I want to sit down. I want to breathe, relax, get myself together, recoup. So that is always in my self-care, whether it's because I'm physically tired or if it's just been like a mental drain from something. Sometimes I'll just randomly say, let me add an extra day or two onto my weekend. Like if I know I've been working a lot, or if it's just been a lot going on at work, or even just going on period, that is something that is just helpful to just say, hey, let me look at my calendar. Let me see what's going on, and let me, add a Friday on there, or a Friday and Monday, and just add it on to the weekend. So that is always something that is very helpful for me. It helps me to hit a reset button. Sometimes people don't understand you don't always need something planned like a vacation for you to take off, from work. Sometimes it needs to be that you're taking off so that you can hit a reset button. And it's not that you have plans or a whole agenda. It might be that you're saying, hey, I'm taking off because I actually just want to chill, sit at home. Not to say you won't do anything at all, but you just want to relax, chill in your space, and hit that reset button and rejuvenate. So that's number one. Something else that I love to do that just helps me. And it might fall into like the spiritual or just like a mental kind of thing with relaxing and and just being at peace. I like either candles to be lit, or I like to have like oils burning. It's just peaceful for me. Just like a light scent, something, of course, it's smelling good, it's refreshing in the house. I love that. And it's something I will do almost every day, where I'll come in, whether it's coming in from work or whatever. I'll say, let me light a candle, turn on some oil or something. I also like dim lights. I do not like bright, like even in my office, like those very bright lights. I don't like that. I either like the natural sunlight or a dim light. So, and whether that's in my office space or in my house, I do not want a bright light on. I don't care if it's what time of the night. I don't want it on. It's too bright. So I like the candles lit and just kind of chilling and, just creating a vibe. It's just peaceful. It's a peaceful vibe, a peaceful environment. If you've listened to my previous episodes, I've always said I love, like, my life is stress free or drama free for sure. Some stress in there from time to time because some things are out of our control. So I will say it's drama free for sure, because that's one thing that I don't do from anybody. Some stress pops in there from time to time. And then that's, to me, being able to control that, control who's around me, the energy people are bringing around me. That's another piece of self-care. So it all leads into it. Sometimes people think self-care is just going to have a spa day. Yes, for some people that may be the case, but there are so many other things that you could practice and implement into your self-care routine that'll just make you feel better. It could be the smallest thing. So of course, this is different for everyone. And I always say that I adjust my routine. So of course, depending on what is taking place. Another thing that I love to do, I like to keep up with my gratitude journal. I feel like at one point I had two separate journals. I may get back to that. I had my gratitude journal and then just kind of like a regular notebook that was just things for me to journal about. I love the gratitude journal and I try to get better at doing it every day. I love writing in it because the gratitude journal that I have, and I've spoken about this before, it's broken into two parts, two sections, where it's the daytime and the nighttime. The nighttime is more of like a reflective section, if you will. The daytime is more like what you're grateful for and a few things that would make the day great. And then it has space for some affirmations. So I love that it's broken out into those two sections. It's helpful to just give you those prompts instead of it just being a blank page for gratitude. And then at the top, you date it each day that you write in it. So I try to keep up with it every day because every time I write in it, it's just having that reflective moment, even for that short period of time of just writing in it. It just feels good. And just even the smallest things, people don't understand. When you're grateful, when you show the gratitude, you attract more. People don't understand the correlation between the two, but it is very real. It's very true. And just when you're just very grateful, very thankful, and it's the smallest things for me that could make me light up, make me happy. And so I wrote in my gratitude journal last night, just saying that one of the things I was grateful for was just safe travels, returning home for me and mother. And I also, wrote that I hope that all of my family members who actually had to travel into where we went for the family reunion, I hope that they traveled safely home. But just the smallest things, just writing in there, if you wrote in it, waking up, like people, like I have literally wrote on there some days, just the waking up, be thankful, because as we know, we're on borrowed time. You're not guaranteed the next day. So you don't take it for granted. But when you show gratitude, it attracts more of those good things to you. And so I I continue to write down just every time something I feel like, good is happening or something in my favor or makes me feel good. I like to make sure that I'm jotting that down in my gratitude journal because I am grateful for it, no matter what it is. And small, big, in between. So I feel like the gratitude journal is something to me that is a piece of self-care where it's just being grateful for the things I have or some things that have happened. And it's a good way to show it. So I definitely like to keep up with that. The physical part of self-care, whether that is going for a walk, working out, whatever you like to do to work out, however many times that is a week, there is no set time. If you've just started a workout journey or if it's something you've been into for a while, but that could be part of your self-care. It is obviously taking care of you, taking care of your health, making sure that you are, keeping yourself healthy. And it also keeps you in good spirits. So I know every time that I do, even just something simple as going for a walk, it just makes me feel better. Like it just gives me like this burst of energy. So that is something I know I've heard a lot of people saying that just exercising and even if it's just something slight, because nobody said it has to be a strenuous workout in order for you to feel great. Going for a walk, it also might help you clear your mind, clear your thoughts, something where you're not thinking about everything that went on in your day. And that could also help you. So that's something I also like. So far we have journaling, whether that's your, just kind of like a in general kind of situation, or if you have a gratitude journal or both, and just lighting a candle is another, or burning oils, just having, maybe just, creating like that vibe in your house. I always say that's what it is to me, and working out. So another thing I love to do, or that I say is in my self-care, is sometimes just having a quote unquote lazy day, where I always like to say being actually lazy and just taking time to reset are two different things. But just a day where you don't have anything planned, or even if it takes a couple days, right? But just where you have nothing planned, you're just kicked back, you're chilling, you have some good food, and you're just, whatever the day brings, you're chilling out. You might be binging a show that you love or whatever have you, catching up on sleep, not taking care of any chores that day, or maybe chores are already done, but just having time where it's literally, you're not saying, what am I obligated to do? So just a day or two where you have no obligations, you can just relax. I love being able to say, hey, today I don't have to do any of those things. And usually I'm saying it's because it's already done. But just choosing a day every now and then to just not having to be on other people's time. Sometimes that's helpful, where you're telling people, no, I'm not able to attend something, or I'm not able to do something. Being able to say no and also not feel obligated to give an explanation, that is also self-care. That's why I'm saying there are things, sometimes when we think of self-care, we are literally thinking it has to be going and getting something done, like whether it's whether it's going to get a massage or going to the spa. And once again, those things are definitely self-care for some people. But we all have different ways that we need to make ourselves feel good. That is what self-care is. It's making ourselves feel good. It's hitting a reset button. It's rejuvenating ourselves. And so you have to, whatever it looks like for you, whatever it looks like for you. And whether that's, and jot it down. You might have to say, let me write it down and see, or you might have to ask some of your friends, what do you do? Or family members or anyone you're close to, just saying, hey, how do you What's in your self-care routine? If they don't mind sharing it. It might be a bubble bath. It might be just sitting in the tub of hot water with some Epsom salt. And it might sometimes be in silence, sometimes not turning anything on to watch or any music. Sometimes that's what you need. I've done it. It is so peaceful. It is so peaceful to sometimes just kick back, not have anything on TV, not have any music playing, just sitting in complete silence. And it's not necessarily that your mind is going, going, going. It's just that you're just sitting there in peace. And block out those things. That might not be the time to reflect on your day or reflect on whatever may be going on in your world. Just being able to sit back and say, let me just sit here and relax. Let it all go. I love, another thing on my list, I love, love, love. Anyone who knows me well enough, a hot shower or hot bath and a good body scrub. And I will be in there once again, whether it's with music or without. And sometimes that with music and you think you're in there in concert, that's self-care. It can be the best thing for you. It can help you. I know there have been times where something might have really, really upset me. And I'll take me a hot shower, water blasting. And sometimes I want that music on and I'm in concert. Yes, I am. And it just somehow, once I get out, it's like I've hit a reset. It might not be that thing that was bothering me has completely gone away, but for the time being, it has. And it just makes me feel so much better. So figuring out what just makes you feel good. It might be a hobby. It might be that you want to talk to your best friend. So all these things fall into self-care. It might be you saying, hey, I usually don't eat sweets and I want some ice cream right now. The smallest things. And once again, you may have a normal routine and then you might every now and then, like if you've had a tougher day or even if it hasn't been something tough, because it doesn't have to be in a negative context. It could be you might have just had, a lot packed into a day or a week or a month, whatever the case may be. And you might say, okay, I need to add a little something extra into my self-care routine right now to make me feel better or to keep me going. So figure out, and because we don't think certain things are self-care, some people may say, oh, well, I don't think I have a self-care routine. You might already have it. It doesn't have to look like the person next to you. It doesn't have to look like anyone that you know. Your self-care routine is your self-care routine. That's why it's called self-care. This for you. You might want to cook. You might want to do some online shopping. You might want to go for a jog. Might want to take a nap. Might want to call your mom and laugh and joke. I know sometimes that's also something that I like to do. Granted, me and my mom, we talk all the time. I see her all the time. But sometimes it's just let me pick the phone up and hear mommy's voice. So it's your routine. Make it yours. Adjust it. Tweak it as you will. But I always say just make sure you have something in there that is kind of from each category, if you will. So like something physical is, you working out or going for a walk, whatever the case, whatever kind of physical movement you enjoy. Mental, doing something mental where you're just like, also, I was about to say yoga, but yoga could go into physical and your mental and spiritual, just because yoga there's yoga that energizes you. There's yoga that calms you. There's yoga that helps you with your breathing techniques. I like yoga. My mom does it faithfully. She does it pretty much every day. I don't think she skips a day. But yes, so yoga could fall into many categories. And then for your emotional, spending time with friends or family or, whoever you're close to, that's helpful. Solitude is great, and we all need some of that, but we also need at least a few people who we love, we know we can connect with organically and genuinely. That's also very helpful. Doing that. Like I said, sometimes telling people no. is a form of self-care. Being able to say, no, I'm not able to do that. It's not because you don't want to be helpful. It's not because you might not want to just attend something. You're not telling them just no for the hell of it. But just being able to say, like, if you already have enough on your plate, or you just don't want to add anything else, you just don't feel like doing something. Being able to just say, no. If it's an invite somewhere, no, thank you. You don't have to attend everything. Everybody who has a birthday, you don't have to attend all of your friends' birthday, whatever, get-togethers, gatherings, parties. No. Your calendar doesn't have to be full into 100% capacity every day. No is a form of self-care. It's something I had to learn. I had to figure out how to just start saying, no, I'm not going. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I don't feel like doing that on this particular day. It makes you feel better. And then, of course, spiritual. Finding something that is good for you in the spiritual realm. So I always say, if you have something maybe coming from each category of self-care, adding that in, creating a routine, or even if it's not a routine necessarily, it might just be something that those things that are good for you and they make you feel good. It might not be that you have it on a schedule. So by no means does it have to be that either. But always taking care of yourself, being able to prioritize yourself. We know others have to come into play, but just making sure that you are taking good care of yourself. And once again, self-care that's just what it is. How does it look for you? How does it feel for you? How does it make you feel? Self. Don't let anyone tell you that what you're practicing is not self-care. Going to get your eyebrows done every 2 weeks might be in your routine, right? So I know it's in mine. Every 2 weeks, my eyebrows have to get threaded. So that's something in there. It has to be done. It has to be done. I like sitting under the dryer with deep conditioner in my hair. That's why I'm saying it's the small things for me. I will literally sit under the dryer. I know most women say they can't stand sitting under the dryer. I don't know what it is. First off, the heat, if I'm sleepy enough, it'll knock me out. But when I wash my hair and then I deep condition it and I'm sitting under that dryer for about 30-ish, sometimes 45 minutes, I don't know. It's just relaxing. I'm chilling. I might be doing something. Sometimes I don't want to do anything while I'm under the dryer. But sometimes I might be on there, doing some things on my iPad or whatever the case may be. For some reason, it's just soothing to me. Sit me under there. The dryer doesn't have to be on hell hot for the deep conditioner to work. So maybe that's why some people don't enjoy it, but I do. So anyway, with all that being said, get yourself a good self-care routine or just things you like to do, things that make you feel good. And as always, let me know. You can put it in the comments. Just letting me know what your self-care looks like. Maybe other people can pick up ideas from you all as well. And continue to follow, like, and share the podcast. Podcast is on pretty much all major platforms. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay candid.